Good evening. Welcome to another basketball presentation on BayPreps.com. Tonight we have the Archbishop Mitty Monarchs, the regular season West Catholic League champions, taking on the Serra Padres, a team that gave them their only league loss in the West Catholic League boys final. We just saw the girls final. It was a good game, won by Archbishop Mitty, the fourth consecutive year the Mitty girls win the West Catholic League playoff final. They win in overtime over Sacred Heart Cathedral by the final score of 54-50. Now you have the Mitty boys looking to win the West Catholic League title for the third consecutive year. I am Pat O'Rourke. With me is Jerry Gerard, the cameraman and producer. We do not have the strongest internet connection in the world here at Foothill College in Los Altos Hills, but we'll try to make go with it. We have a packed house, and people are still trying to file in. There's a line outside that stretches for, I would say, a good 50-plus yards outside of people trying to get in this building right now. Of course, some people left after the girls' game, but a lot of people still trying to get in for this boys' final between these two good rivals. A lot of storylines when you talk about these teams. And you get a look at the Serra Padres right there, come in for a record of 23-3, Mitty 21-5, but Serra gave Mitty their only league loss. In fact, Mitty had won 24 consecutive games against West Catholic League opponents until the Padres got the better of the Monarchs when they met in San Mateo in a 65-59 Serra win. They outscored the Monarchs 24-14 in the final quarter for that win, and that's interesting because it was Mitty who outscored Serra when the Monarchs played on their home floor in San Jose. Mitty outscored Serra 24-7 in the final quarter for a 60-50 win the first time these teams met up. And it is the West Catholic League playoff finals, so that means we should expect a close game. Last year, we got a close game when Mitty defeated Sacred Heart Cathedral by 3 points. The last three West Catholic League boys finals have been decided by 3 points or less. And that includes a game that Mitty beat Serra in 2 years ago, 46-45. The last 5 games have been decided by 5 points or less. So these two evenly matched teams who are so close in the rankings as well. In our Bay Preps rankings, according to Harold Aben, he's got Mitty third and Serra fourth in the entire Bay Area. In the Chronicle, Mitty is second, Serra is fifth. In the Max Preps NorCal rankings, Mitty is fourth, Serra is fifth. In the state rankings from Cal High Sports, Mitty is 13th, Serra is 14th. And in the divisional rankings, according to Cal High Sports, in Division 2, Mitty is number 1, Serra is number 2. So you can tell by all those rankings that Mitty is considered a favorite tonight, but a very slight favorite because these teams, like I said, evenly matched. They each have wins against the other. And one note of interest, we talked about injuries affecting that girls' game in terms of players missing games in that game on each side. The Serra Padres are without Matt Jaja tonight. He hurt himself, hurt his knee in the semifinal win against Sacred Heart Cathedral last night. So he is not playing for the Padres tonight. And it's not like Jaja is a big-time scorer, but he is a body you need when you go up against someone like Aaron Gordon, who's the fourth-ranked player in the country. According to ESPN, the fourth-ranked senior in the country is Aaron Gordon. And, of course, he was just named the league's MVP, and something that was announced between the girls and boys playoff. For our prayer and the national anthem, again, it'll be the Notre Dame Belmont Choir who sings the national anthem.
Sing the national anthem, the Notre Dame Belmont
And again, a great job by the Notre Dame Belmont Choir. As we get started for this game, the Padre fans, Serra students already very much into this one. As we get a look at their student section to the left of us. You can't beat this atmosphere at Foothill College in Los Altos Hills. Mitty looking to make it a sweep tonight after their girls team won the playoff final for the 4th consecutive year. The Monarch boys looking to do it for the 3rd consecutive season. The Serra Padre players, the starting lineup will be introduced here shortly. And they'll be shaking hands with a former Padre, Tim Kennedy, who's the head coach at Mitty. The guy that's Serra's all-time leading scorer and rebounder at Mitty. As you get a look at him, he's 9-3 in his career against the Padres, including that 46-45 win in the WCAL playoff final 2 years ago. And you have to think, as asking Dean Ayub, and they're still tolling the stats as far as, but Henry Caruso, who was a first-team All-WCAL by far, and I'm sure even though Aaron Gordon took home the MVP, gave Gordon all he could handle for that MVP award, Caruso might now be the leading scorer and rebounder at Serra. Serra, Gordon for Mitty. But so often you'll see in these games, it's the other players, the role players, who decide the winner and the loser. The Padres are coached by Chuck Rapp. Excellent job in his long-time tenure in San Mateo, a 23-3 record this season. Padres starters consist of Jaquai Biggins. He is a 6-foot senior. Sean Watkins has been coming on strong for Serra, having a good season overall, a 5'10 junior. Henry Caruso is a 6'4 senior. Jeremy Fields is a 6'2 junior. And Andre Miller is a 5'11 senior. Again, Miller, Caruso, Fields, Biggins, and Watkins for Serra. For Archbishop Mitty, told you, coached by Tim Kennedy. Kennedy in his 5th year has won 123 games and lost just 32. Two-time state champions are the Monarchs in Division II. They, of course, have Aaron Gordon, the 4th-ranked senior in the country, according to ESPN. He stands 6'8". Also for the Monarchs, Davis Messer is a 6'4 senior. Connor Peterson, a big game last night, 24 points in the semifinal win against Reardon. He's a 6'2 junior. Brandon Farrell is a 6'6 senior, and Brandon Abagello is a 6'3 senior. It's Caruso and Gordon, the two best players in the West Catholic League this year, with all due respect to Grant Vermeer and a number of other players. These two guys have been the best in the league this season, and they will jump it up. And the tip is won by the Monarchs. And it's going to be Gordon who handles it up top for Archbishop Mitty. We are underway. West Catholic League final action from Foothill College. Here's Gordon catching on the wing. He's going to pull up for the jumper, and it's way off. And the rebound on the floor is picked up by Andre Miller. Miller, steady point guard. Not a big-time scorer or shooter, but he gets it done. And he's someone that certainly gets it done on both ends. Serra's first possession. Caruso's got it up top. Caruso scored 30 last night against Sacred Heart Cathedral. He's working against Gordon. Great matchup as those two match up with 7:22 to go in the opening quarter. 15 on the shot clock. Jaquai Biggins, 6-foot senior. He scored 15 in the win, 5 in the loss. And here is a jumper. It's way off from up top by Caruso. Gordon picks up the rebound on the floor. Ahead, this is Connor Peterson. He draws contact, and Peterson's going to the free throw line. So Peterson, 24 last night in the 72-69 win against Reardon. However, in the 2 games against Serra this year, he has averaged just 3 points. So he's a key factor for the Monarchs. Someone that you'd expect his scoring to be a little bit more up this season after a solid sophomore season for last year's state champs. He does make 2 free throws, and the Monarchs have the early lead. We've played nearly a minute. Andre Miller working against Peterson. Gives way to Fields. This is Watkins. Watkins steps in, gets it stripped. Gordon's got his hands on the loose ball. Gordon spins around, nearly traveled, and it is a travel. They are still letting people in, even though it seems like there's no more room. There are people following in behind us. Andre Miller, of course, you don't want to turn away that money, as Watkins shoots a long 3. Made a couple last night, actually 3 of them against Sacred Heart Cathedral. Biggins has the rebound. Another set for Serra, looking for their first points. Andre Miller. Long 2. The rebound to Brandon Farrell. Mitty fans chanting defense. Pass knocked away by Fields. Good defensive play. He knocks it into the Serra bench. So a defensive start to this one. We've played a minute 54. Serra was a 6-point winner on their home floor against Mitty. Mitty was a 10-point winner against the Padres on the Monarchs' home floor. Here's Abagello, 3 in the corner. Tip rebound, goes to Miller. Miller slows it down. He finds Watkins. In the corner, Caruso. This is Biggins. He'll shoot the 3. He's got it! Biggins puts Serra in front. Biggins, a key factor, had just 5 points in the loss to Mitty. Gordon to Peterson. Peterson runs into traffic. Pass stolen away by Watkins. Second Mitty turnover. Here's Caruso in the front court. The rebound to Peterson. Dangerous pass and a foul on Miller from behind. Abagello's got it working against Biggins. Abagello attacks and scores. 6'3" senior, another guy that was a regular contributor off the bench for the Monarchs last year. Sean Watkins over to Biggins on the far side. Peterson on to steal. Peterson working against Biggins. Haynes in the air, can't score and travels. Andre Miller gets a pick from Fields. Gets it back to Fields. Fields, nice pass, Caruso against Gordon. Haynes in the air, tries to score in the reverse, and he got fouled. So Caruso heads to the free throw line. Caruso made 8 free throws last night, and his first one ties this game up with 4:21 to go in the first. Messer goes out of the game for Mitty. Second free throw misses. John Paul Reinflesch is in as Gordon grabs his second rebound. 4:15 to go in the first. Terrific atmosphere, completely packed house. You can see all the people standing behind the baskets. This is Rhineflesh to Abagello. Dangerous pass. Stolen away. Mitty's already got 4 turnovers. Ahead to Caruso. Caruso kicks out. Biggins for the open 3. Jaquai Biggins has 2 threes for Serra. Padres with the advantage. You might be able to tell we're surrounded by Padre fans. Here's Aaron Gordon. Gordon steps in, way off, gets his own rebound, scores, but they're going to call a foul on Gordon for going over the back on that rebound. Actually, I believe they're only going to give Biggins a 2 on that last shot. It says 6-4 on the scoreboard. 3:23 to go in the first. Biggins loses the dribble off his foot. That's going to be an over and back violation. Third Serra turnover. So Biggins must have been on the line on that 3-point attempt. And by the way, Aaron Gordon, that last foul, that was in fact his second foul. So Aaron Gordon already has 2 fouls in this game. We have 3:13 to go in the opening quarter. He stays on the floor with those 2 fouls. Serra's got Matt Dickerson in the game for the first time, and he leaves Gordon open for a 3, and Gordon airballs it. So Gordon's tried 2 jumpers, and he has missed both badly. Minutes to go in the first. Here's Caruso backing his way in, and Gordon swats it out of there. Gordon playing with 2 fouls. Serra doing the smart thing to try to go right at him. Try to pick up that 3rd foul in this first quarter. It is a sauna in here with all the people. Definitely more people than last year's playoff final, and that was a packed house when Mitty played Sacred Heart Cathedral. Here's Stansberry into the game. And Eddie Stansberry gets called for the violation, actually a foul, push off. That's his first. That freshman for Serra is someone to watch. Someone that's probably going to play at the Division I level when it's all said and done. He's certainly playing well lately, averaging over 11 points per game in his last 4, but he gets the offensive foul. Serra, the team in blue, the lob down to Mitty against a couple players. He goes up and misses, but draws the foul, does Gordon. And Gordon will head to the free throw line where he has struggled this season. He'll try to get in the scoring column for the first time. He just drew the 2nd personal foul on Stansberry. So Gordon's got 2 fouls. Stansberry's got 2 fouls for Serra. Gordon gets the kind roll. Watkins is into the game along with Danny Mahoney. They check in for Fields and Stansberry. He misses the second one, the rebound to Caruso. Jaquai Biggins, Caruso. This is John Watkins. Caruso still working against Gordon. Caruso has 1 point. Gordon has 1 point. Less than 2 minutes to go in the first. 8 on the shot clock. Caruso feeds Watkins, who can make the long-range 3, but he missed that one badly, and Gordon tracks the long rebound. Gordon crosses over, hands in the air, draws contact, and a little bit of a scuffle as Dickerson and Gordon go at it, and Caruso, showing some senior leadership, pushes his teammate Dickerson away. And let's see what the ramifications of this are. That was a hard foul on Gordon. Clean foul. And it looked like there was a little bit of a scuffle at the bottom of the pile. And so we'll see if there are any technicals being assessed here. If there is a double technical, then that's going to be Gordon's 3rd foul. And Gordon can't believe it. And neither can Tim Kennedy with 1:42 to go in the opening quarter. Gordon trying to talk to the officials right now. Him and Dickerson both went to the floor, and it appeared there was a little bit of a pile-up between the two players. And I'm not sure what happened. I mean, there are bodies surrounding him. I think you got to give Henry Caruso a lot of credit for grabbing his teammate Dickerson and getting him out of there. Dickerson gets called for a double technical there as well, I believe. So Gordon still gets the free throws, and he airballs it. Sorry, we have someone not. And Gordon does make the second free throw after airballing the first. Apologize for that loud boom. There's a headset hitting the deck. But Gordon's got to come out of the game. He's got 3 fouls with 1:42 to go in the first quarter. I mean, does Mitty go without him the rest of this first half? I mean, if they hang around, I'm sure that makes things easier. And now, getting tied up are Watkins and Messer. And it's going to be a foul on Serra. And Tim Kennedy upset with the way this game has been officiated here at the start. Dickerson, by the way, just picked up his 3rd foul. I was wondering if that was something beyond Watkins, but that was Dickerson off the ball with his 3rd. And now the officials thinking that it should be 1-and-1 free throws. That's the 17th foul on Serra. Because it was an offensive foul. No free throws here for Mitty. Connor Peterson working against Miller. Tensions are very high in this WCAL playoff final. Messer open for the 3, and he's got it. That's a big shot with Aaron Gordon on the bench for Davis Messer, the 6'4 senior. Again, Mitty just looking to survive with the 4th-ranked senior in the country on the bench with 3 fouls. Stepping in is Andre Miller, and he scores. First points of the game for Miller, the 5'11 senior. 45 seconds to go in the first quarter. Here's Connor Peterson. Nice dish off and a layup for John Paul Reinflesch. 3-point Mitty lead again. Offense has done well for the Monarchs in 2 possessions as Peterson knocks away the ball from Miller. Well, no surprise, tension's high. That's a physical game, and it'll be no surprise this is a close game. Again, the WCAL playoff finals are usually close, and these two are evenly matched. 16 seconds to go in the quarter. Into the corner, this is Stansberry airballing to 3, or Fields that is, and it's knocked out of bounds off of Mitty. That was way off by Fields. We're going to see Jaquai Biggins check into the game. Biggins has 5 early points to lead all scorers. Caruso just 1 point thus far. Messer, or actually should say Farrell, is guarding him. And a traveling violation on Biggins, who runs at the official to contest the call. It's a 6th turnover on the Padres. Biggins still upset with that call. Dakari Monroe, the sophomore, checking him. His shot before the buzzer is way off, and at the end of the first quarter, it's Mitty leading Serra by the score of 11-8. The Monarchs with Aaron Gordon on the bench with 3 fouls in the final minute 42. They managed to outscore the Padres 5-2 in that final minute 42. We'll see how they do here in the second quarter. Gives us opportunity to thank Michael Mulry, your home loan purchase and loan finance expert at 925-967-3055. Let Michael Mulry at CNA Equity Group be your bridge, your most profitable equity partners. Michael Mulry at CNA Equity Group. If you're ever in the East Bay, and to our viewers that are in the East Bay right now watching this game, Rocco's Ristorante Pizzeria, the place to go after or before the game, open late. They have music on the weekends, full bar, longtime supporter of high school sports in the corner of Oak Grove and Ignacio. That's Rocco's Ristorante Pizzeria. And Franklin Canyon Stables is very affordable, family-oriented, the place to go if you're looking for riding lessons, trail access, horse training, or boarding. That's Franklin Canyon Stables. For more information, go to kimshorsetraining.com. That's kimshorsetraining.com. Serra out-rebounding Mitty 7-5, but the Padres have 6 turnovers compared to 4 for the Monarchs. Just 3 made field goals for each side in that first quarter. This is Andre Miller to Biggins, back to Miller. Miller steps in, nearly a travel, and he scores off the glass. Second field goal for Andre Miller. 7:42 to go. Here's John Paul Reinflesch. He wants to attack, and he can score off the glass. Reinflesch already has 4 points off the Monarch bench. Inside the lane, getting stripped and fouled is Andre Miller. 4th team foul on the Monarchs. And they're going to say Miller was shooting. Yep, he's going to get a couple free throws. Miller averaging 5 points in these WCAL playoffs. Misses the first free throw. He makes the second. He's got 5 of Serra's 11. They still haven't given the point on the board here, but it is 13-11. Connor Peterson to Davis Messer. Peterson up top. Peterson steps to his left for the 3. Couple bodies hit the deck. Loose ball knocked out of bounds, and it will go to the Padres. This is real physical. And you hope that officials took care of most of that. It's tough to make a WCAL game unphysical. Of course, you just don't want the grabbing and holding and so forth. As Henry Caruso has it. Caruso still at just 1 point after 30 last night against the Irish. He gets the ball against Farrell. Caruso, the Princeton commit, draws the foul on Farrell. It's a first personal on Farrell, 15 foul. Fields looking for the lob down to Caruso. Great job by Farrell to knock it away, and Messer steals it. 7 turnovers on the Padres now. Peterson. Up top, Abigello. He's got an open 3, and he drops it down. So the Monarchs doing pretty well with their best player on the bench. They have a 5-point lead, 6:09 to go in the first half. This is Biggins. Here's Caruso underneath, in traffic, stripped, knocked away, wanted a foul. Peterson hangs in the air, can't scoop in the layup, but he draws contact. And Peterson is going to the free throw line for a second time. It's going to go against Biggins, his first, 8th team foul. Danny Mahoney is going to check in for Serra after this first free throw from Peterson. People are still trying to move around to find a place to sit or stand in this hot gymnasium. And the free throw misses by Peterson. So Mahoney's into the game, along with Eddie Stansberry. They come in for Watkins and Fields. And he misses the free throws. Mahoney outside. Miller kicks it back out. Watkins. Or Mahoney, I should say. Down low, Caruso. He takes up against Abigello and scores. He's got his first field goal. Such a steady player all season for Serra, Henry Caruso. 5:04 to go until halftime. Abigello catches. Feeds Messer in the corner. 3-point miss and the rebound to Miller, already his third board. Ahead to Caruso, he'll stuff it home. And that gets the Padre fans back into this game with 4:47 to go until halftime. Timeout on the floor with Mitty up by 1. So out of the timeout, Mitty with the basketball. If you're just joining us, Aaron Gordon picked up his third foul on what was a double technical. With 1:42 to go in the first quarter, he has sat out of this game. It was tied at 6 at the time. Mitty right now up by a point as Farrell catches, can't score. And the rebound stolen away by Farrell, and he's got a dunk. As Stansberry tried to save it, he threw it right to Farrell. The other way, a foul. So here's Andre Miller going to the free throw line after the foul on Dakari Monroe. Miller now with 6 points. .418 to go in the first half. Abigello. Pass off the hands of Peterson. They're going to say Peterson was pushed by Biggins, and that's going to be the second personal on Jaquai Biggins. And it's going to send Mitty back to the free throw line. The Monarchs are 4 of 8 from the line. Peterson just missed 2. He's 2 of 4. And he's actually shooting 1-1 here, as that's the 19th foul on Serra. So Peterson makes the front end of the 1-1. A guy that will probably play at the Division I level. Had a nice game last year in the WCAL playoff final win against Sacred Heart Cathedral. Just a junior, he makes them both. He's got 4 points. 4:08 left in the half. Caruso catches, gets it stripped. Loose ball knocked away on the floor. Got it back by Caruso, wide open. He finds Mahoney for the layup. Great job by Caruso to find his teammate underneath after that loose ball scramble. Abagello, though, answers the other way. Abagello, 7 points for the Monarchs. Again, he scored in double figures last night against Reardon, one of 4 Mitty players in double figures. Monroe comes away with the steal. Monroe in the front court has Abagello running with, but his pass was a little bit behind Abagello, and the Monarchs turn it over. .325 left in the first half. Caruso's got 5 points, just had a nice assist. The little runner by Stansbury's way off. Monroe has the rebound. Monroe again in the open floor. Feeds Peterson, who pump fakes a 3. Kicks it Abagello. Monroe's open for 3. Instead, he finds Farrell, who's got another dunk. The Monarch fans go crazy behind the Mitty bench, as we've got a foul on the floor called against Mitty. 17th foul. That's going to send Serra to the free throw line for 1-1. And again, it's going to be Andre Miller. Again, Mitty, 4 players in double figures last night against Reardon. They're going to need those other guys to step up with Aaron Gordon on the bench. Gordon has not played since the first quarter. He's got 3 fouls. The last one coming on a double technical on a tangle with Dickerson. Miller misses the front end of the 1-1, but he has his own rebound. And Dakari Monroe grabs it off the glass for Mitty. Ahead to Peterson against Watkins. He can't score. It just rimmed out, but Peterson will get 2 free throws. And the Monarchs are in the double bonus for the rest of this first half. He was shooting anyway there with 2:51 to go in the half. That's a foul on Watkins, his first. Everyone acting like that might have been a 1-1, but he does get another. Peterson now 4 of 7 from the line for all 4 of his points. Abagello is the leading scorer for Mitty with 7. Andre Miller's got 7 for Serra. Missed them both. Caruso the board. Timeout by Chuck Rapp over on the Padre bench. With 2:47 left in the first half. Mitty won the girls' playoff final 54-50 in overtime over Sacred Heart Cathedral. These teams finished 1-2 in the league standings. Mitty going 13-1 in the West Catholic League for the 3rd consecutive year. They did have at one point 24 consecutive wins against West Catholic League opponents until Serra beat them the last time these teams played, when they met in the jungle. Mitty has not only won the WCAL playoff final 2 years in a row, they've won 5 of the last 7. And again, as we said at the outset, if Serra's an underdog, they're a slight underdog. 2:47 left in the first half. Mitty led by an 11-8 margin at the end of the first quarter. Caruso's got it. Works right side the lane. Tough fadeaway jumper from the baseline. Misses, and Peterson has the rebound. Ahead to Monroe. He wasn't ready for it. Peterson threw the pass, and Monroe wasn't looking. Mitty's got 6 turnovers. Serra has 10. Biggins, Miller, Caruso, Fields, and Watkins on the floor for Serra. There are 5 starters. Here's Biggins off the dribble against Peterson. He can't score. Monroe tips the rebound to himself. Monroe very active since he checked into this game, even though he doesn't have any points. Peterson was looking to hand it off to Abagello. He throws a dangerous pass to Abagello. 20 on the shot clock. Kick it over into the corner for a long 2 by Messer. That is drained. Davis Messer gives Mitty their biggest lead at 7. Messer's got 5. 100 seconds left in the half. This is Miller trying to get to Biggins, knocked away by Peterson. Peterson in the open floor's got Monroe running with. Monroe's got a layup and the foul. Told you about the activity of sophomore Dakari Monroe. He has his first points, and he ran the floor well there after the Peterson came up with the loose ball. And now Dakari Monroe, who is also a good solid player in the Mitty football team as a sophomore, has a chance to stretch this lead to double figures. And this is all with Aaron Gordon on the bench. Monroe sinks the free throw. Mitty's outscored Serra 18-11 this quarter, and Chuck Rapp wants a timeout. The Monarchs have opened up a double-digit lead with 1:26 to go in the first half. We've got a timeout on the floor. We'll take one with them. You're watching high school basketball action. This is BayPreps.com. Pat O'Rourke back with you here on BayPreps.com with the score Mitty 29, Serra 19. With 1:26 left in the first half, the Monarchs have opened up a double-digit lead, and they've done so with Aaron Gordon, the 4th-ranked senior in the country, on the bench. Gordon picked up his 3rd foul on a double tech with 1:42 to go in the first quarter. The game was tied at 6 at that point. Let's see if Serra can get a strong finish to the first half. And we've got a whistle off the ball, an offensive foul on the Padres. And that's going to go against Mahoney. So the first personal on Mahoney, 1:17 left in the half. Padres just 7 made field goals in this game as Rindfleisch gets called for a travel. Eddie Stansberry is going to check into the game for Mahoney. And Chuck Rapp, talking to Mahoney right now, was not happy with that offensive foul at the other end. So 1:02 to go. Both these teams spent some energy last night in the WCAL semifinals. Serra won by double figures, but that was a game that was a 4-point game at one point in the fourth. Here is Watkins driving, missing the scoop shot. The rebound on the floor. Messer trying to pull it away. He gets tied up in the possession arrow. Points Mitty's way. The Monarchs getting it done defensively. That's something Tim Kennedy, their head coach, former Padre, preaches over and over again to his team as Peterson checks in for Monroe. He gets a nice hand, a well-deserved hand, as Monroe goes to the bench. Monroe, 3 points and 3 rebounds for Mitty. 40 seconds left in the half. Connor Peterson. Working against Andre Miller, 22 seconds. 14 on the shot clock. Here's Abagello open for another 3. He's got it again. What a first half for Brandon Abagello. 10 points. The lead is at 13. 6 seconds till halftime. Andre Miller gets called for an offensive foul. Actually, I believe that's on a pick by Fields. Another offensive foul on Serra. 4.9 seconds left in the half. It's a 10-0 Mitty run. Bad pass, stolen away by Watkins. His pull-up 3 with 2 seconds, misses. The rebound on the floor to Reinfleisch. And Mitty survives a 3 there by Watkins, who can certainly, or actually Mahoney, I should say, not Watkins, but Mahoney, who missed that 3. It could have cut the lead down to 10. Instead, the Monarchs will have a 13-point lead when they head to the second half, and they survived the final 9:42 of the half with their best player on the bench. We'll take a break on the audio side. You're watching high school basketball action on BayPreps.com. Thirty-two 32-19 is our score at the half in favor of the Archbishop Mitty Monarchs as they lead Junipero Serra at the break, and they did so in large part without their best player, the fourth-ranked player in the country, according to ESPN, as far as Aaron Gordon. He got his third foul and a double technical with 1:42 left in the first quarter. The game was tied at 6 at that point, and Mitty played very well from there, and we're pleased to welcome in the prep writer for the San Francisco Chronicle. You can find him on SF Gate, and also, of course, Max Preps, senior columnist at Max Preps. Mitch Stevens, anyone that knows high school sports knows Mitch's work. And Mitch, great to have you on. Well, that was a great job by Mitty with Gordon on the bench to take control of this game from there.
I think this just to do without Aaron Gordon, the supporting cast, and for him to get his third foul there and do what they did. They outscored him 21-11 in the second quarter without Gordon. They could. I think they'd like to see what they could do the rest of the game without him. Tim Kennedy, let's see how long they can go without him. Because from what I hear, Aaron is kind of banged up anyway, and there's a lot of basketball to be played the rest of the season.
For sure, with the Open Division coming up as well. I mean, these games are going to get tougher and tougher, and of course, you can't ask for a better opponent than what they've got in Serra tonight. What do you think as far as Serra? What do they need to do in this second half to get back in it? Henry Caruso had 30 last night, just 5 points here in the first half, and you think with Gordon on the bench, it might have left an opening for him to get some things done offensively. I'm not putting it all on his shoulders because he got Biggins and other guys that could step up. Eddie Stansbury, freshman's played well lately, but is shut out in the first half. There's a lot of Padres that certainly have room to improve in the second half.
Well, that's for sure. It's kind of a funny thing, nobody will say it, but do you relax a little bit when Gordon goes out of the game and just think it's going to be a cakewalk, but it's been anything but. I just think the rest of Mitty has just picked up their game so much. There's just an intensity. And but I just think basically Serra needs to just settle down and get shots. I think and get in their offense and just run it. But I think the offense does need to run through Caruso down low. I think that that Brandon Farrell, he's so underrated. He is really an athletic kid. Had a couple dunks there in the first half for Mitty, but they just need to settle down and get shots. But get out in the break too. Serra's obviously they do well on the break.
Yeah, they do, and they're a team that needs to get some more points in the open floor, as you mentioned. What about the open? Best team in Northern California all year long. We saw what they did to Mitty. It was a couple months ago, but that was an impressive performance at the Catholic School Winter Classic. How do you think this Open Division is going to break down? Is this something you think is good going into the future?
It is a wait-and-see process. I am really curious to see what they do. At a time, I was driving over here, and I was thinking maybe it won't be an 8-team tournament. Maybe because I really just see maybe 6 teams. Do you bring Serra up? They haven't, they've been to a state title game, but that was 5, 6, 7 years ago. I think they should stay in Division I and try to win a state title. I see 6 teams, 5, 6 teams that really that I could see. De La Salle, Mitty, Salesian, as you said, Sheldon, and Bishop O'Dowd. I think those are 5 really clear teams to me, but after that, I think there's teams that can play with all those teams, but those are 5 clearly. It's just going to, I really I'm so curious. I want to wait and see, and I'm excited for it in a lot of ways, but it's got to be done right, and we'll see how that works.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. What about this Mitty team? It's one that, going back to last year, I thought the Open Division would have been perfect for Mitty last year. I mean, it could have been Mitty, and Salesian, of course, heading in a NorCal final in the Open Division last year. Those 2 winning state titles, both very good. That Mitty team, a lot of people forget how good those seniors were that graduated, like Jack Bible, who plays here at Foothill, but also, Neil Vranikar and Thomas Peters and Jordan White. Those guys were all very good players. They're tough to replace. It seems like Mitty, even though they had a really good season, 21-5, they're up 13 right now. It seems like they've still had maybe a little difficulty to get the same type of consistency they had a year ago. I'm just wondering if maybe now they're gelling at the right time, or if it's just too tough to compare this year's team and last year's team, because it seems like last year was still much better.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and that's why I think this game is just opportune. I think Tim Kenny's just been waiting for something like this where, I don't know how to spell Brendan's last name.
Abagello.
Thank you. You're the announcer there. Abagello. I mean, for him to break out. I mean, they obviously have some shooters and players all over the place. Connor Peterson, he's a great talent. But something just hasn't quite gelled. So it's something like this, though, could kick it in. And where Aaron doesn't feel like he's got to score 25 and pull down 20 rebounds. If they play like this with Aaron Gordon at his top game, then, I think they could win the Open.
Yeah, it's going to be great to see if they, in fact, match up with Salesian once again. Mitch, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Mitch
Thanks.
Stevens, as we mentioned, senior columnist Max Preps, also prep editor for San Francisco Chronicle. Mitch for joining us. Talk Southern California basketball here on BayPreps.com. Again, it's a 13-point Mitty lead at the break. And we'll see what is in store here in the second half for the Serra Padres. Let's run down the totals in this one. Brandon Abagello, the player that Mitch was talking about, 10 points in the first half. He is the game's leading scorer. He scored 8 of those in the second quarter when Mitty outscored the Padres 21-11 in that second quarter. Also for the Monarchs, 5 for Davis Messer, 4 points each for John Paul Reinfleisch, Brandon Farrell, and Connor Peterson. Dakari Monroe with 3. Good effort off the bench for Monroe. He got a big 3-point play on a pass from Peterson in the open court. And Aaron Gordon's got 2 points on 2 free throws in the first quarter. Again, Aaron Gordon did not play at all in the second quarter. He missed the final 142 of the first quarter after picking up his 3rd foul on what was a double technical. As for Serra, Andre Miller's got 7 points. Henry Caruso has 5. Jaquai Biggins also has 5. And Danny Mahoney has 2. No points in the first half from Sean Watkins. None from Eddie Stansberry. And those are 2 players who have been playing very well here for the Padres. Serra hurting themselves with turnovers. They have 13 of them. Mitty has 8. Serra is out rebounding the Monarchs 12-11. Mitty 7 of 13 from the foul line. The Padres are 4 of 7. And we get ready for the start of the third quarter. The Padres take the floor. The Mitty very late coming out of the locker room. Here they come now. You have to think we'll see a much better Padre team in this second half, but is it going to be enough to overcome this 13-point deficit? It will be Padre. Fields, Caruso, Miller, or I mentioned Miller twice. Biggins out there for Mitty, Abagello. Gordon does start the second half. Farrell, Messer, and Peterson. Here's Caruso working against Gordon. He got called for a travel. A little bit too anxious there, and the turnovers continue to hurt the Padres. That's their 14th. You know it's a point of emphasis to go at Gordon with those 3 fouls. Caruso working against Gordon. Messer, good production for Mitty in that first half. Gets it down low to Farrell. Farrell takes it up strong. And the rebound to the Padres. Here's Caruso in the corner. Outside, Watkins a long 3. He made 3 of those last night. Save, rebound, goes to the arms of Gordon. Gordon, the open floor, finds Peterson. Peterson's got a layup. The first field goal for Peterson, who's got 6 points. Mitty's up to a 15-point lead. A kick ball on the pass from Caruso. Caruso catches the inbounds, open for the jumper, he sinks it. Padres looking for something. Any kind of a run they can get right now. Abagello up high. Steps inside the lane. Misses the shot. Couldn't get the bounce. Farrell, though, is there on the rebound. Brandon Farrell, 6 points. Here's Fields, the biggins. He'll try a three with a hand in his face from Abagello. No. The rebound saved to Caruso. Watkins wants another three. This time he gets the fall. Finally the first points of the game for Watkins. Will that get him going? He had 11 last night against Sacred Heart Cathedral. He's averaging 11.7 over his last three. Gordon, just 2 points, gets fouled by Biggins. Biggins talking to the official after every call, and that seems like an obvious call, and he just got a technical by the official from behind. He was talking to one official, and the official who was trailing from behind just teed him up, and that's going to be his fourth. He gets his third personal and the fourth on the technical. And Biggins is a key factor. We mentioned he had 15 points in the win for Serra against Mitty, but just 5 in the loss. He has just 5 tonight, and he picked up this technical foul. And the free throw is good for Peterson. These are the technicals. The board said 5. Actually, Biggins is just fouled out of this game. I was thinking that was his third and his fourth. That was actually his fourth and his fifth. And he is right now putting his head in his face over on the Padre bench. You get a look at him over there where that ball was, where Gordon tracked it down. It's a 38-24 Mitty lead after those 2 technicals. Here's Gordon off the dribble, scoring. Aaron Gordon's first field goal of the game, and Mitty's opened up a 16-point lead. One-handed pass stolen by Abagello. Stolen right back by Caruso. He's got a dunk. Gordon nearly gets it stripped. Kicks it over to Messer for a three. Tip rebound grab by Messer. And he travels. .505 to go in the third quarter. Serra still looking for their first real run of the game. Caruso against Gordon. Open is Stansberry for three. He had a couple threes last night, but Peterson's got the board. Peterson, nice pass, layup for Messer. Great job in the open floor by Peterson. He's played a nice game. He's got 8 points. And a pretty dime there. 4.5 to go in the third. Here's Fields. Out to Caruso for a three. Good. Caruso's starting to heat up. He's got 7 of his 12 in this third quarter. The Monarchs, though, need stops. Here's Gordon. Down to Farrell. Farrell can't score off the glass. And a rebound, a foul. It's going to go against Mitty. It's going to go against Farrell. That's his second. First team foul on the Monarchs, midway through the third quarter. Here's Mahoney. Up top to Caruso, now Miller. Miller, Haynes in the air, and he scores the right hand. 9 points for Andre Miller and a steal for the Padres. Caruso spins his way around, Haynes in the air, he draws the foul, and he'll be going to the free throw line. We were looking for a run. And the Padres have a chance to get it down to single figures. after trailing by 16. Foul is on Abagello, his first. Misses the free throw. Now 1 of 3 from the line. Padres 4 of 8 as a team. Monroe checks into the game as Abagello goes out. He misses them both, and the rebound to Monroe. Dangerous pass, caught by Reinfleisch. Haynes in the air, and he draws the foul. It's John Paul Reinfleisch is hurt right now. Not sure how he got hurt. I was going to say he's someone that has improved as the season's gone along, earned more and more minutes. A junior. He's got 4 points off the Monarch bench tonight, and he'll try to stretch this lead back up to 13. So he makes them both. 3:32 to go in the third. He checks out of the game, and hopefully he's okay. He's walking very gingerly as he goes over to the bench. Here's Andre Miller. Miller blocked out of there by Farrell. Gordon the loose ball. Great pass ahead to Peterson. Peterson can't score, though. And Serra gets it back. And a foul on Mitty. Caruso's open for a three. It looked good, but didn't fall, and Messer has the rebound. Padres still down by double figures. They were down 13 at the half, down 13 right now. Gordon catches against Caruso, backs his way in, and a foul on Serra as Gordon was making a pass. Just 4 points tonight for Aaron Gordon, but Mitty is up by 13. If someone would have said Gordon would have 4 points with 2:48 to go in the third quarter, there's no way you would have believed that Mitty would have this kind of advantage. Open Peterson in the corner. He's got the three. And it's back up to a 16-point game. Peterson's got a game-high 11, or a Mitty-high 11. Caruso up top finds Mahoney, who nearly traveled, gets it back to Caruso, misses the layup, but he was fouled. That's the third foul on Davis Messer. So Caruso makes the first free throw. Remember, he just missed 2 moments ago. Abagello's going to check in for Peterson. Peterson, another nice game tonight after scoring 24 against Reardon in the semis. That foul goes against Monroe, actually, so that was his second. Messer still has 2. Caruso makes another free throw. He's got 9 of his 14 this third quarter, but the Padres have been outscored in the quarter. Nobody else really stepping up, and Jaquai Biggins got teed up earlier for his 5th foul. He's out of this game for good for Serra. Here's Abagello scoring. Another easy bucket for the Monarchs. 2:03 to go in the third. Caruso. Sean Watkins had a real quiet night, hit a 3 earlier in this quarter, and now the Padres turn it over once again. $18 turnovers tonight on Serra. 11 for Mitty. Gordon hasn't needed to do much. Didn't play the final 9:42 of the first half because of 3 fouls. And Mitty still outscored Serra by 13 with him on the bench. Here he goes, Haynes in the air, and it's a great reverse layup. And a timeout by the Serra bench with 1:31 to go in the third. The Monarchs have opened up their biggest lead of the game as Gordon scores on a pretty dribble drive. An 18-point advantage. We were not expecting this. The last 3 West Catholic League finals have been decided by 3 points or less, and the last 5 been decided by 5 points or less. Call Michael Maury, your home loan purchase and loan finance expert at 925-967-3055. Let Michael Maury, West Catholic League alumnus at CNA Equity Group, be your bridge to your most profitable equity partners. Michael Maury at CNA Equity. Rocco's Ristorante Pizzeria, a place to go after the game. Open late, full bar, longtime supporter of high school sports in the corner of Oak Grove and Ignacio and Walnut Creek. That's Rocco's Ristorante Pizzeria. 1:31 to go in the third. Padres looked like they had some momentum. Caruso was at the free throw line after down by 16. He had a chance to cut to 9, but he missed both free throws. And since Mitty has increased their lead. And now a whistle off the ball. It'll be a foul against the Monarchs. That's going to be the third foul on Monroe. So here's Miller finding Watkins. Just no flow for Serra offensively tonight. Caruso goes to the bucket, scores, and draws the foul. Serra looking for anything that they can take into the fourth quarter. That's now 11 points in the third quarter for Caruso, who scored 19 of his 30 last night in the first half. Peterson checks in for Monroe. Jaquai Biggins again on the bench for Serra. He picked up his 5th foul early in this third quarter. Fouls out of the game with 5 points. It was after he picked up his 4th, complaining the official. He got a technical for his 5th. Mitty was able to survive without their best player, Aaron Gordon, in the first half. Not only survived, but they took it to Serra, outscoring the Padres by 13 points with Gordon on the bench in the first half. Caruso misses the free throw, trying to complete a 3-point play, and the rebound's out of bounds to the Monarchs. Gordon. And Habigello gets run into by Watkins of Serra. Second foul on Watkins. 15 foul. That was a major collision at midcourt there between Habigello and Watkins. It seemed like Watkins got the worst of it. Here's Habigello to Peterson. Got Miller all over him. Outside, he finds an open three for Ted Young, who just checked into the game. Contributions coming everywhere for the Monarchs. Again, they increase the lead. This is the biggest it's been at 19 with 24 seconds left in the third. Here's Miller, bumped, leans in. Can't score the jumper, the rebound with 5 seconds. Trying to throw it ahead was Messer. Instead, he turns it over. And slipping is Mahoney as he tries to get a score. And that's the end of the third quarter, with Mitty up comfortably by 19. "19-point Monarch advantage as we go to the fourth quarter. Mitty looking for their third consecutive West Catholic League playoff title. They've 3 straight and leaning in. Foul. That's going to be Gordon's fourth. Remember, he picked up his third with 1:42 to go in the first on what was a double technical. Now he gets his fourth with 7:45 left. Just 6 points tonight for Aaron Gordon, but Mitty hasn't needed him. A bunch of other players have stepped up. Here's Andre Miller off the dribble. Into traffic. He draws the blocking foul on Ted Young. So Miller shoots 2 and misses the first. Serra not helping themselves with the missed free throws. That's 7 in this game. They are 6 of 13. So Miller now in double figures with 10 as he makes 1 of 2. Connor Peterson. Feed underneath, Farrell. And we've got a foul on Mitty. Not sure what happened here. Tim Candy looking for an explanation. Well, Farrell missed the dunk, and Mitty is going to keep possession here. It'll be Abigello inbounding. Chuck Rapp wanting an explanation at midcourt. Inbounds to Farrell. It's been a night for the Mitty role players, the complementary players, I should say, for Aaron Gordon, showing that this is not just a one-man team. Connor Peterson into the corner, feeds Ted Young, who just made a three moments ago. The rebound to Stansberry, and Stansberry turns it over. 19 turnovers tonight for the Padres. Just a sloppy night for Serra. This is not a team that we saw go 12-2 during the regular season in conference. A team that came in 23-3. Here's Peterson missing the three. On rebound, tracked by Miller. These teams very well can meet again in the CCS Open Division Final. In fact, most would put their money on that. Here's Caruso. Spinning away. Tough fadeaway jumper, and it falls for Henry Caruso. Gets it down to a 16-point game. That's 18 points for Caruso, which is a game high. 13 of those since halftime. And another whistle off the ball. Eddie Stansberry, the freshman who's been playing so well and is going to be a key part of the future for Serra. It's been a key part of the present, has had a rough night. 4 fouls and no points for Stansberry. And a timeout by Tim Kennedy on the Monarch bench with exactly 6 minutes to go in this game. And Mitty up by 16. They led by 13 at the half. Franklin Canyon Stable is very affordable, family-oriented. The place to go if you're looking for riding lessons, trail access, horse training, or boarding. That's Franklin Canyon Stables. For more information, go to kimshorsetraining.com. That's kimshorsetraining.com. Serra fans chanting defense, not giving up on this game. It's been a rough night for the Padres, but they come up with a steal here, and they get Caruso in the front court, and he is fouled from behind by Abagello. Not over yet. 5:44 to go. It's the second foul on Abagello. Caruso, 18 points tonight. Caruso is going to be playing his college ball at Princeton. Wouldn't be surprised if he is just puts up huge numbers in the Ivy League as well. He makes a couple free throws to get the lead down to 14. Here's Abagello. Against some pressure, he gets fouled. Both him and Watkins hit the deck. And Stansberry is just fouled out of the game. Stansberry fouls out with no points after averaging 11.3 per game in his last 4 coming into tonight. Stansberry had 12 last night, including a couple of three-pointers against Sacred Heart Cathedral, but just not his night tonight. So here's Abigello shooting 1 and 1, and Caruso's got the rebound. 6 rebounds tonight for Caruso. 5:31 left. Andre Miller spins his way around, draws the foul. He's going to the free throw line. And now, if you're Tim Kennedy, you're not liking the way this is looking right now because Serra's starting to get some points with the clock stopped. Abigello now has 3 fouls. Aaron Gordon's ready to check in. He's got 4 fouls. And Kennedy was going to bring him in here with 5:24 to go. So Dakari Monroe goes out as Gordon checks in. Miller misses the second free throw. The rebound tipped to Peterson. Peterson passes to Farrell. And a traveling violation. It's 14 turnovers on Mitty. Well, last 3 boys playoff finals been decided by 3 points or less. Can the Padres put together a big run to get this one close? Mahoney gives way to Miller. Caruso working against Gordon, doesn't go at him, instead gives way to Watkins, who's had a rough night. As compared to what he's been doing lately for the Padres. Here's Caruso. Outside Mahoney for a long 3. Too strong. And the rebound, the floor picked up by Watkins. Gets bumped by Gordon, no call. And Caruso on the rebound gets fouled. And they're going to say that foul was on the floor. But either way, it's Serra in the double bonus. People are going to walk out of here maybe saying Serra didn't come to play tonight, but Henry Caruso certainly has. And he has cut this lead, well, just down to 12 as he misses the second free throw. Gordon's got his 5th rebound. 4.5 minutes to go. Painting in the air as Messer gets it blocked, gets it back, and puts it in. Davis Messer, 9 points tonight. Great night for the 6'4 senior. And we've got another whistle here. So again, we've had some double technicals early. And it looks like we're going to get a technical on Messer. That's going to be his 4th. And Andre Miller is going to shoot the technicals. So as we update our scoreboard, it's now a 12-point game. You got the Messer 2 points and then the 2 free throws by Miller. 13 points for Miller, 4:21 to go. Serra still not out of this game, but they've been unable to get it down to single figures since early in the second quarter. Taking it up against Farrell and scoring is Jeremy Fields. His first points tonight, 10-point game. Peterson runs into a man, and it's a blocking foul on Fields. If anything, I thought that was a no call. And if you're going to call a foul, you almost have to call it on Mitty because Fields was standing there. Connor Peterson's going to be the one going to the line. He has 6 of 10 from the line tonight, so he certainly had his opportunities from the charity stripe. He'll be shooting 1 and 1 though. So if he misses his free throw, Serra has the rebound. their fans waiting for a chance to get back in this game in what has been a very slow-moving fourth quarter have a chance to do so. Serra students chanting pressure for Peterson, who has 11 points tonight. And he shot it too strong. Caruso is 8th rebound. Can they get it down to single figures? Pull up three by Mahoney. He is fouled by Abagello. Terrible foul there. Abagello just committed a terrible foul. And that's going to be, I believe, is that his 5th? And that is the 5th foul on Abagello. Not only does he foul a three-point shooter, but he commits his 5th foul on that play with 3:57 left. And he does it on Mahoney. With all due respect to Mahoney, is not the main three-point shooter on the Padres. He has 2 points tonight. Mitty not closing this one out well. They led by 19 entering this fourth quarter. And they've committed a lot of fouls in this quarter, allowing Serra to get points from the line. The Padres have 7 points from the free throw line. And Mahoney can make it 10. We've still got 3:57 left. But he misses it. And the Padres have now missed 10 free throws in this game. The spread is 10. It's too bad for Abagello. He had a real nice night before that. Well, I'm sure he would admit it was a bad play. Only making 1 of 3, and the rebound to Gordon. And he is fouled in the backcourt. So Gordon will head to the other end. He's shooting 1 and 1 as that's the 9th team foul. Peterson just missed the front end of a 1 and 1. And he missed it. Padres can get it down to 7 or maybe 6. Mahoney. He's going to shoot the 3. Short. Gordon skies for the rebound. Gordon takes it in the front court. Nice feed, Ted Young. Pump fake. Young is fouled. The foul is on Mahoney. So Young gets an automatic 2 here. Both teams now in the double bonus with 3:34 left. Mitty can bring in someone like Ted Young in the second half. He didn't play at all in the first half, and he contributes. And that's why this is a 2-time state championship team, is Tim Kennedy finds a way to let other guys step up and play, and he trusts them. Young makes them both, and the lead's back up to double figures. Here's Watkins along the baseline. Gordon swats it out of there. Watkins wanted a goaltend. And a timeout by the Monarch bench as they try to get composed with 3:18 to go. Again, every time Serra seems to have an opportunity to get back in this game, they're unable to do so. They had it down to 9, but now down 11, and Mitty's got the basketball with 3:18 to go. Padres not helping themselves from the free throw line. They have missed 8 in this second half, 11 in the game. course, Mitty has missed 9 free throws in this game. A long night here at Foothill College in Los Altos. The girls' final went to overtime, won by Mitty 54-50. Now the Monarch boys looking to make it a sweep just like they've done the last couple of seasons as Archbishop Mitty. They have dominated the WCAL playoff finals. Here's Gordon. Hanging in the air, can't score. He follows his own shot with a dunk. And Mitty is up by 13. That might be the exclamation point with 2:40 left. An 8-point night for Aaron Gordon. Here's Watkins. Kicked out of bounds by Messer with 5 on the shot clock. Padres look like they're going to lose their 4th game of the season. Caruso catches and fires over Gordon, misses, and Dickerson lands right on top of Farrell. And Dickerson is going to get tossed out of this game. He nearly got into it with Gordon earlier. There, he landed on top of Farrell, and he wanted to go after Farrell. So Dickerson is out of this game. Well, he picked up 5 fouls in very, very limited action. It was actually his 4th, but they looked like they tossed him out. Well, that was going to be his 4th personal. They tossed him out in the technical as Ted Young shoots and makes. And that's something Serra's going to have to get under control here as they head into CCS. You've got Jaquai Biggins, who picked up a technical for his 5th foul. Young makes 1 of 2 free throws. And Biggins is a key player for Serra, their 2nd leading scorer on the season. He did so with his early in the 3rd quarter. Now they're going to have Farrell shoot free throws. .224 to go. Both teams are going to be working on their free throws before that first CCS playoff game. So Farrell makes them both. Actually, he makes 1 of 2. 7 points for Farrell tonight. And now a foul on Caruso as they look to foul Gordon intentionally and try to get back in this game. I guess they're going to try to use that hack-a-shack. Problem is Mitty's in a double bonus, so Gordon gets an automatic 2 free throws here. He is 2 of 5 from the line in the game. He's got 8 points to go along with 8 rebounds. Not your normal Aaron Gordon performance, but Mitty will take the 15-point lead with 2:23 to go. Not sure what the delay is here. As we wait these Gordon free throws with 2:23 left. Gordon becomes the third Monarch in double figures with those 2 free throws. They had 4 in double figures last night. Miller misses the wild shot, the rebound to Young, and a foul as Fields tried to strip it from Young. And that's going to send some fans to the exits with 2:13 to go. Mitty had a 13-point lead at the half, and they put on a clinic tonight. They extended that lead here in the second half. Serra got as close to within 9, but no further. Ted Young, 8 points off the Monarch bench. The Mitty bench hurting Serra's bench tonight for sure. Watkins to Mahoney. Miller tries to score over Peterson, but there's Aaron Gordon easily able to tip the rebound to himself. Gordon has it knocked out of his hands, and he's going to get fouled. Gordon trying to get his free throw stroke going. He's got 3 in a row. Rebound Caruso. Caruso, another double-double as he's done so often. 21 points, 10 rebounds tonight. It's been a long fourth quarter. A couple long games today. Missed three-pointer by Watkins. And another foul with 1:28 to go. No reason for Serra to foul anymore. And Chuck Rapp waving his arms right now, telling his team no need to foul. It does give Tim Kennedy an opportunity to bring in a whole new lineup here. Guys who have not played tonight. That's Connor Peterson line to shoot to 11 from the free throw line tonight. He's got a dozen points. So the Mitty regulars get a big hand. Messer, Farrell, Gordon, all going to the bench. Ted Young also played well. Monroe is back into the game, but also out there for Mitty is Kevin Feller, Andrew Scott. Now we'll see Tyler Gray check in for Peterson. Also, Cameron Korb is out there. Shot inside the lane, misses. Monroe the rebound. 1:10 to go. What a job by the Archbishop Mitty Monarchs. 3-time WCAL regular season champs, 3-time playoff champions. Here's Monroe going to the basket. Rebound to the Padres with 35 seconds. A couple players in there for Serra that aren't listed on the roster we have. It's a long three. That banks in for Corey Cavallo. Mitty doesn't have to throw up a shot here. 17 seconds left. So Archbishop Mitty's going to go to 22-5. They're going to win the WCAL Finals for the third consecutive year. The regular season champs are also the playoff final champs. As the final seconds tick off, congratulations to Tim Kennedy and the Archbishop Mitty Monarchs. They controlled this game, and they did so mostly without a huge contribution from their best player, Aaron Gordon. They beat Serra tonight in the West Catholic League Finals, 69-50. Take a break on the audio side. You're watching high school basketball action on BayPreps.com. Final score tonight, 69-50 in favor of the Archbishop Mitty Monarchs. Congratulations to Mitty as they win the WCAL playoff finals for the third consecutive year. Aaron Gordon picked up his third foul in the first quarter on a double technical with 1:42 to go in the first quarter. And he went to the bench. The game was tied at 6, but from there, the other Monarchs stepped up, and they took a 13-point lead in the half. They led 11-8 after one and 32-19 at the half. They outscored Serra 22-16 in the third quarter. Both teams scored 15 points in the fourth quarter. Ends up being a 69-50 Monarch win. Mitty had 3 players in double figures. Connor Peterson scored 13 tonight, 12 for Brandon Abigello. Abigello had 10 of his 12 in the first half when Mitty really built that lead. Aaron Gordon finishes with 11 and 9 rebounds. 9 points for Davis Messer. Ted Young, 8 in the second half. All of his action came in the second half. 7 for Brandon Farrell, 6 for John Paul Reinfleisch, and 3 for Dakari Monroe. Serra was led by Henry Caruso, 21 points, 10 rebounds, another great effort from the first team all-league player. 13 for Andre Miller, 5 points for Jaquai Biggins, who fouled out early in the third quarter when he picked up a technical. 3 points each for Danny Mahoney, Sean Watkins, and Corey Cavallo, and 2 points for Jeremy Fields. The Padres committed 19 turnovers. Mitty committed 14. Mitty out-rebounding Serra 24-19, or 28-24. And the Padres were 14 of 24 from the foul line. Mitty was 22 of 34. Thanks to Ed Ravenscroft, the WCAL commissioner, and also Shannon Rosenberg, the head coach here at Foothill, for accommodating us. The final score again tonight, Mitty sweeps. The Mitty girls win 54-50 over Sacred Heart Cathedral in overtime for the girls' title. And the Mitty boys win 69-50 for the boys' championship. So Mitty wins by 19, and they win the WCAL finals for the third consecutive year. You've been watching high school playoff action from the WCAL on BayPreps.com. Have a good night.